Ken Jennings has been associated with Jeopardy for a long time, first as a contestant and then as the host. He has seen the show transform from the Alex Trebek era into its current version. The consensus among most fans is that he has done a good job, and Jennings also seems to enjoy hosting the game. However, not every aspect of being the popular game show's host has been to his liking, and he recently revealed the things that made him cringe as a viewer. He appeared on the Love It or Leave It podcast along with former contestant Amy Schneider. The 51-year-old revealed that he was never a fan of when the host would pause the game to ask contestants about their personal lives. He said that he used to cringe and leave the room whenever that happened. When you're on Jeopardy, episode number 5, and it says on the card, "So, it says here, you like skateboarding. Is your heart in it?" The podcast host had asked. Jennings could not help but laugh, according to a TV Insider report, and said that as a kid, he found these interviews to be because these people mean well, but you make them stop playing Jeopardy for a second to talk about their cat or their trip to Thailand or something, and they're not there for that. They just want to answer the little questions, he said. As the host of the show, it is Jennings who has the unfortunate task of conducting these interviews that he hated as a kid. Age hasn't taught him to like it, but he certainly tries his best to make it as enjoyable as possible for the viewers. "So, I try to make it good. I try to make it the least bad it can be and get out of there. My promise to you, the viewer," he said. That begs another question. Has Jennings ever said no to asking an interview question on the show? The podcast host asked him exactly that and was met with an interesting answer. "My version of that joke would be cats," the 51-year-old said. "It is 100%. You would not believe the crazy thing my cat does. And I'm like, I bet I can. Does it sit on top of the couch? That's nuts." Schneider, who was sitting there and listening to all this, hailed Jennings' ability to laugh at any story, even if it wasn't that great. As someone who has seen Ken work up close, his ability to laugh at any story is remarkable, she quipped. The Jeopardy host then said that he spent his life trying to get out of conversations in 25 seconds, which is why this was the perfect job for him. For fans of Jeopardy, Ken Jennings is practically synonymous with the show itself. The former contestant-turned-host has captivated audiences with his encyclopedic knowledge, calm demeanor, and quirky sense of humor. But as iconic as he is, even Jennings admits that hosting one of the most beloved quiz shows in television history comes with its fair share of uncomfortable moments that fans might never expect. Recently, in a candid interview, Jennings opened up about the aspects of hosting that make him squirm behind the podium. And while viewers tend to see the host as a composed, almost infallible figure, Jennings' revelation makes it clear that even the smartest people in the world have moments of human vulnerability. The glamour and the grit. At first glance, hosting Jeopardy might seem like a dream job. Who wouldn't want to be in front of the cameras, interacting with contestants, and surrounded by the aura of intellectual prestige? Jennings acknowledged the perks, from the incredible opportunities to meet brilliant minds to the sheer joy of seeing contestants light up when they get an answer right. "There's a real thrill in the moment when someone nails a tough clue," Jennings explained. "You see their excitement and it's infectious." But, as he pointed out, the show's polished surface hides some very unglamorous behind-the-scenes realities. Among them, the most cringeworthy part of his role, according to Jennings, is the handling of clues that are tricky, obscure, or dare he say playing wrong. "Sometimes, you're forced to read a clue that even I, with all my preparation, think is a little off," he admitted. "You want to be encouraging and professional, but inside you're thinking, who wrote this really?" It's tough to maintain that perfect game show host smile in those moments. The challenge of reading clues. It may seem simple. Read a question, pause, and move to the next. But hosting Jeopardy is far from effortless. Every clue is timed, and every segment is carefully scripted to maintain the show's pace. Jennings revealed that some clues are worded in ways that can trip up even seasoned readers. A slight mispronunciation or awkward phrasing can make a clue unintentionally worse, confusing. "I've had moments where I stumbled over a word or two, and you can feel the camera catching every microsecond of it," he said. "It's a very subtle kind of embarrassment, but it's there. You're live in front of millions of people, and every syllable matters. Fans watching at home rarely notice." But Jennings explained that hosts are hyper-aware of these tiny missteps. When you see the contestants smiling, you can't tell if they're genuinely happy or if they're thinking, "Did he just say that?" It keeps you on edge. Technical and teleprompter woes. Another source of discomfort, Jennings shared, stems from technical glitches. Though the production team is remarkably professional, live television is always a gamble. Teleprompters can lag, screens can freeze, and cues can be mistimed. Jennings described an instance where a clue appeared a beat too early, throwing off his rhythm. You want to glide through the show seamlessly, but when technology hiccups, you're suddenly very aware of every eye in the studio and at home. You feel every twitch and stammer magnified. These moments, he admitted, are his least favorite part of the job. For someone who spent his life studying trivia and mastering strategy, having to navigate unexpected technical hiccups while staying composed is like juggling knives while reciting. Shakespeare. The pressure of being a role model beyond the mechanics of hosting. Jennings also pointed to the social pressure. Jeopardy is more than a quiz show. It's a cultural institution. Its audience spans generations, and viewers often have high expectations of the host. Jennings joked that he occasionally feels like a walking encyclopedia under a microscope. The pressure isn't just about knowing the answers. It's about presenting yourself as a figure of trust and reliability, he explained. You want to honor the contestants, respect the audience, and maintain the integrity of the show. Sometimes, that pressure can feel almost cringeworthy because you're so conscious of every little detail, from your posture to your tone. He added that social media amplifies this sensation. Even minor slip-ups can be replayed, dissected, and discussed online. You start imagining every misstep in 4,000 resolution. Jennings laughed. It's a strange mixture of pride, fear, and humor all rolled into one. Finding the humor in awkward moments despite the cringeworthy moments, Jennings has developed strategies to cope and even laugh at the awkwardness. He has a natural ability to inject humor into tense situations, a skill that endears him to fans. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is acknowledge the weirdness, he said. A little self-deprecating humor goes a long way. If I stumble or mispronounce a word, I try to wink at it mentally and move on. This ability to balance professionalism with levity is part of what makes Jennings such a beloved host. Viewers may not always notice his internal cringe moments, but they benefit from his composure and charisma. And Jennings himself has found that embracing the human side of hosting allows him to connect with contestants on a more personal level. Why we totally understand fans can relate to Jennings' discomfort because everyone has faced situations where they had to perform perfectly under pressure. Whether it's a presentation at work, a speech at a wedding, or even just reading aloud in front of a class. We've all had moments where the tiniest misstep feels magnified. Jennings' candid admission makes him more relatable, showing that even someone with an encyclopedic mind has human vulnerabilities. Moreover, it highlights the often overlooked complexities of hosting a show like Jeopardy. The audience sees the glamour, the contestants' excitement, and the smooth pacing, but very few consider the invisible challenges the host faces every day. Jennings' honesty gives viewers a newfound appreciation for the role, as well as for his dedication to maintaining the show's high standards despite occasional cringeworthy moments. The takeaway: Jennings has turned what could be an intimidating or embarrassing role into a masterclass in professionalism, humor, and empathy. His revelation about the most cringeworthy parts of hosting Jeopardy reminds us that even people who seem larger than life have insecurities and challenges. It also reinforces why Jennings is so well suited for the job. He combines knowledge with humility, precision with relatability, and poise with an understanding of human imperfection. At the end of the day, Jennings' ability to navigate the awkward moments with grace and even chuckle at them only makes him more endearing to fans. It's a reminder that behind the polished exterior of television, there are real people experiencing real, sometimes cringeworthy, moments. And in that honesty, we find a connection that makes watching Jeopardy all the more enjoyable. For viewers, the next time you see Jennings handle a tricky clue or maintain composure during a technical hiccup, know that he's experiencing a tiny bit of cringe behind the scenes, and he's doing it with all the professionalism, charm, and subtle humor we've come to love. In other words, we totally get it, Ken, and we're glad you're the one guiding us through the world of trivia. One tricky clue at